not done yet. Pretty much a month, kind of only playing that game. I thought it's time, also for the upcoming release, time to look at Horizon Zero Dawn once again and truly see the difference between games. Especially when both games came out, there was a really hard debate on which game is better and whatever, and I can, say that they're both phenomenal games. They're both incredibly good. Zelda has the better gameplay, and as you can clearly see, Horizon has the better graphics. It's actually stunning how big of a difference the two games are graphically. It's just, there's no competition. Zelda Horizon wins this hands down. It looks just freaking gorgeous. Holy damn. I also want to say that the music is better in Horizon. And I have actually the same thing with Zelda that I did with Horizon. I love just walking around and exploring and just seeing kind of the scenery.
I'm turning back.
Also, as a character, I liked, or still like, Aloy more. That's maybe because Aloy, has more personality, where, Zelda Link really doesn't say anything. What was it? Oh yeah, triangle stick. I'm actually really happy that they're making a complete edition, because especially some of the patches really fixes some of the annoying inventory management problems. I do want to say one thing though, and I think that is also interesting, is that the draw distance in Zelda is much, much bigger. Like, yes, you can see the mountains up there, but blurry. But with Zelda, you can really look a gigantic amount. You can almost, if you're at Death Mountain, is it called Death Mountain? You can see the entire game of Zelda. You can see the entire world of Zelda just being on a mountain. That's pretty incredible.
I need this.
Also, this game runs really well. That's also something very interesting. Of course, we all knew that.
I can get out of this.
I don't get it. Why are they doing it? There's bunny! Little bunny! It's a dead bunny now. Sucker! Holy shit!
I think I'm in the clear.
Of course, but no console gamer will ever say you know, a game is better on PC. A game is better on console compared to PC. And yes, Horizon is much prettier. It looks better than Zelda. And I'm not just talking about how many polygons are on screen. It's also just the art design of Horizon, you know, is just incredible. I really like the world of Horizon, and that is more important for me. That I play in a world that I feel connected to. Now, hell, you definitely have been with me for a very long time, so you know how connected I am with the world of Horizon. And I have exactly the same feeling with Zelda, just not as much as storyline. Of course, pretty much every multi-platform game is better on PC. It's just that at the end it doesn't matter. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, I spent about 60 hours in Horizon. I've spent 95 hours on Zelda. I'm still playing Zelda. It doesn't matter if, you know, on another system it may be better. It's all about that I have fun playing the game. But it is interesting to see how much a difference graphically Zelda versus Horizon is. But then gameplay wise, Zelda is just miles ahead of Horizon. Like, I can't even climb this. And she could do that. I cannot move this rock. In Zelda, you most probably can. That's true. Call of Duty is really being made for consoles, and Battlefield probably is more for PC. But you have to consider that consoles is where the money is at. It has been proven time again and again is that, you know, consoles is where they get the most money. And one of the prime examples, and you can check it out on the internet, is GTA 5. Where in GTA 5 you can easily just download a mod for free and, you know, get all new stuff, where on the consoles gamers have to buy DLC, and, you know, it's selling a lot more. If you consider that,
Going down fast.
you know, on PS4 it's selling like 50 million or 60 million. It's like gigantic numbers. And Rockstar really showed that on PC they earn almost nothing, and they earn a huge amount on consoles. It's just easier for people to get into. Oh, cool tank. I can't wait for the DLC though for Horizon. It's gonna be fucking cool. What level am I, by the way? What is it? Where did I find it? Like, even the outfits and the gear, it's so much better in Horizon. In Zelda, I mean. Like the loots, the gear system, and the weapons, they're so much better in Zelda. Oh no, I'm not even maxed out. Or am I? Well, I think I am. I am maxed out. But you can be level 50. Level 50 is the highest you can get. Yeah, that is a really big issue. You know, it's really interesting, especially for, you know, Japanese games, is that the pro PC gamers, are really like, oh, but this Japanese game sold really well on PC and compared to consoles, you know, I think like Hyperdimension and Pina game sold about 200,000 copies on Steam. And people were like, yeah, true, but at what price point? You know? At what price point did the Steam users buy that Japanese game? Was it 60 bucks or was it a Steam sale for 10 or 8 bucks? That's a big difference. What the fuck is that? Holy shit, what the fuck is that? Oh, and they're doing nothing. They're just standing there like idiots. Holy shit. Yes, that's definitely true. You know, the biggest games on PC are always, you know, League of Legends and these type of games. You know, now you have now Public Unknown, that's really big. But yeah, that is something interesting to really check out, is that the draw distance in what you see in the game is much bigger in Zelda. I mean, it's pretty impressive in Horizon, but you can definitely see a lot of fog. But of course, the details are, you know, much better. But I still like, you know, I like to play Zelda a little bit more than Horizon. Because it has more gameplay. It has more exploration. And to be honest, I mean, I kinda, you know, explored everything that the game has to offer. I didn't even see that asshole there. And I love the music in Horizon. I mean, Zelda has some really good music, but Horizon blows it out of the water. That is one thing. So Horizon has the graphics, it has the storyline, it has the characters, and it has the music. Holy shit.
Look out below.
In World, I don't know. Yes, that is what Horizon also does. That is what every open world game does. Is the further you see, the less details you see. But I mean, just, you know, Horizon has a tremendous amount of detail in the game. I mean, it took years to create, so.
Maybe I'm soon enough.
Zelda, by the way, also has an option in game, just like in Horizon, that the HUD is gone. I think you only can see the hearts, so you know how much life you have left. But just like Horizon, you have a clear image. And I think that is really important. That draws myself more into the game. Even though with Zelda, it's kind of hard to play without the minimap. What is that? Oh, that's like a city. Isn't that the city? Yeah, it was really smart, of course. I mean, they have been using that system, on PS2 and maybe even PS1.
Okay, now what?
But it was still really limited compared to what they can do now. And, just consider what they can do next generation, or heck, if you want to, what Xbox One X can do. Consider Horizon 2, on PS5, how that's going to play out, or how's that going to look.
Just stay out of their way for now.
And of course I have to mention, this is of course the PS4 Pro version. And the difference between PS4 Pro and Switch is even bigger than it already is. And Horizon isn't even the prime example of what we're gonna see on Pro. That's at least what Mark Cerny, himself said, that we're gonna see games even better looking for Pro. I really miss climbing. Like, that's my first reaction, having these machines behind me. I'm like, let's climb a rock. I'm like, nope, I cannot do this in this game. You cannot climb rock. Oh. Help me. Hey. It's really impressive that with all the detail and all the things going on in the screen, that it still runs at a freaking solid frame rate. That is really impressive.
The sun showed us the way.
Yes, the sun showed you the way. Yes, Death Stranding runs at the Decima engine. That is indeed quite interesting. I really love the art design in this game. Its graphics definitely make the world, you know, feel more real, alive, I guess. But I think that Zelda has enough detail to have the same impact. Hey, where did they go? Oh, they can up where I got. No.
Don't let your guard down. Thank you for all you've done, and for wearing our colors, too. I've always wondered, are all your kind hunters and fighters, or just a few?
It's going to be really hard to pick a Game of the Year game this year. Not just about Zelda, Horizon, you know, there's Mario next week, but also stuff like Yakuza, Neo, Nier Automata. You know, there are a lot of good games this year. Next year is going to be even harder. Well, Gran Turismo Sport #1 hasn't been reviewed well. And I'm actually not going to buy any of these games you mentioned. I'm not going to buy Gran Turismo, I'm not going to buy South Park, and I'm not going to buy Assassin's Creed. At least not at launch. God of War, that's a game I'm definitely going to buy. That's my biggest concern I have right now. Is I'm afraid that, you know, when the good games are gonna come, I won't be playing on my Switch.
You look strong enough to man a forge.
I played GT5 and 6 and they were fun to play. I liked grinding for credits to buy a cool car. But I did not play them like in a long period of time.
So many come to the Sundom and can't be bothered to work. But you don't seem like the rest. I prefer the one about the Sun Priest falling in love with a merchant's daughter.
Oh, wonderful. What a day.
I played Dirt 3. Do I have Dirt? Yeah, Dirt 3. That was pretty good. I have to admit. Like, I do like racing games once in a while. Both like fantasy-ish, but also like real racing games, like Gran Turismo and Dirt. That's why I am slightly interested in if like a racing game is going to come to the Switch. Like maybe like Project Cars or, you know. That'll be cool on the go. Just racing a couple of rounds. Oh really? Didn't know that. I kind of want to. I'm inclined to say that I like the world of Horizon more than Zelda. It has more to see. There's more life in it. I don't know.
Oh, that's nice.
You know,
Glad I stopped.
Zelda really has the fixed cities. Like you have a couple of cities and those are the cities. There's nothing else. And you have like the stables that are more like, you know, small gathering points, but not really cities. Where in Horizon you really have towns and cities and, you know. Horizon already got a Game of the Year edition. It's going to have the complete edition. It has the DLC and all the patches on disc. And with a much better box art. And if you're talking about, you know, if it's going to have a Game of the Year award, I don't know. It's really tough because Horizon came out in February, or was it March? You know, Zelda came out, Mario is gonna come out. People are gonna remember those games and maybe forget a little bit about this game.
So eager to speak with me if you knew me. Well, don't you seem fresh-faced and ready for anything.
Like, the game really has a tremendous amount of detail. It really is just holy shit. I'm really happy it's selling really well. It definitely deserves it. Just like Zelda, you know, this game deserves the millions of sales it's having. True, but so did Zelda.
Move along. You have no need to loiter around here.
Don't ask me where to go if you're lost. I'm a guard, not the town crier.
I'm not entirely sure if they changed their minds, but I think they...
You look well.
Yeah, I mean, they... You know, I think they were really trying to find out what type of game do they want to make with Zelda, and you know, what are they going to do with the game? What should it be, you know? Like, this is something that you won't do in Zelda.
Stirring up tensions.
Let's have a chat.
You know, walking around the town,
Colorful
exploring,
discussion.
sightseeing, because the towns are mostly really small. Except for Hateno
I bet those traitors
town.
Oseram will just conveniently lose Derval.
Yes, it was supposed to launch in 2015, but you know what Miyamoto says. You can better have a complete good game than a broken game that's, you know, bad for forever. And at the end, I mean, many believed it's, you know,
The Sun King's grown too
one of the
soft.
best games of all time, so, you know, they're kind of right. What are they doing here?
Prince Edaman is alive and in the palace. Praise the sun.
Now that Prince Edaman has returned to Meridian.
Not always. I mean, Zelda didn't lack. Yeah, but Final Fantasy 15 is just many bad decisions made by a greedy company that kind of doesn't understand what the game franchise was and should be. Now, I'm not entirely sure if you know, but example for Nintendo is that Miyamoto actually teaches the younger developers with Nintendo, you know, how a Nintendo game should be made. You know, what's the essence of a Nintendo game. And I think you can see it if you check out Splatoon or ARMS. You know, you can truly see that, you know, it's made by younger people, but it has a Nintendo flair. Where, for example, with Final Fantasy 15, you truly see that there is someone else, you know, being the boss of Final Fantasy. That it's not the guy from, you know, it's not Hironobu Sakaguchi from the original Final Fantasy games. He has a different view of what an RPG should be compared to that idiot of a Tabata. Yes, Nintendo's game basics is truly gameplay should be fun. A game should be fun to play. You know, look at Horizon. For example, let's look at Horizon as an example, really. So I have done pretty much all the side quests. I have the best gear. You know, I explored pretty much the entire world. Okay. Let's be honest. What is there to do? What is there to do? I've only spent about 60 hours in the game, 58, if I can remember it correctly. You know, in that amount of time, I have almost done everything. Almost. Besides walking around and being amazed at how good the game is and listening to the music and looking at the sexy face of Aloy, or her butt, even though you don't really see her butt. Let's be honest, gameplay-wise, what is there to do in the game? Basically nothing. Like, I have a couple of corrupted zones and yeah, okay, it's fun, but that's it. Banka. Now, what is there to do in Zelda? I played the game for 95 plus hours. What is there to do? Now, first up, the shrines. I have done 54 shrines out of the 120. Most of the shrines have unique puzzles, and some of them has unique gear. So it is actually worth it to try and explore the shrines in Zelda. That's going to take a huge amount of time to find and complete all these shrines in Zelda. Then you have the outfits. You know, if you know me, I love outfits. I love costumes. I like gear. I like loot systems. That's why I fucking love Neo. It has so many outfits, so many different loot to collect. And there are still a lot of outfits in Zelda I need to get. Then you can upgrade these outfits. But you'll need ingredients, you know, you need materials for that. You have to farm them. And it's not as easy as Horizon at just, you know, going to a place, click, I got the gear. you actually, you know, need to find it where it is. And some, for example, animals only live in a, you know, at some parts of the game. You know, fish doesn't live in the land, it lives in the sea, and you have fish that are against the cold and the fish that are against the heat. So you have to go explore and find it. There are still many treasure chests with hidden gear. There's still a big amount of weapons I don't have in Zelda. There are still, I have done 21 side quests out of the 79 that are available. And again, consider that I spent 95 hours with the game, and I still need to do so much more. You know, it's, yes, they took a huge amount of time with Horizon, making the game look amazing, building a incredible, beautiful, and interesting world, cool storyline, beautiful music, but it kind of does lack gameplay. You know, it's, you know, like there's nothing really to do. Even if you look at mini games, there are no mini games in this game. And Zelda actually has quite a lot of different mini games. Now they're not as cool as like The Witcher's, but they're still there. You know, this game doesn't have anything. So, you know,
I'll tuck that away.
It really is about having fun. Like, I do have fun exploring the world because I like that. But I understand that many gamers are like, that's not what I want. You know, I want to have fun with the game, and you know, Horizon is a game that I'll be buying when it's cheap, play it for the storyline, and never touch it again. And I can understand that. Oh. What's up, FL Wonder? No, Cyberpunk, there hasn't been any information about that game. Well, to be honest, like, The Witcher is still the best open world game ever made. You know, it has gameplay, it has storyline, it has everything, you know. But the biggest issue I had with The Witcher is that for the weapons, you could pretty much only use swords. Only swords. And that sucked, because I'm a guy, I like, you know, a shield and a sword, or an axe and a shield. That's what I like. You couldn't do that. I understand with the whole storyline of The Witcher that they didn't, you know, put it in the game. And if you look at least armor-wise, you have a huge variety of different armors. And its story made The Witcher so good, and its graphics, and The Witcher just had everything. Everything. Gameplay, world building, graphics, story, music, everything The Witcher had. You know, I spent 200 plus hours with The Witcher. Still kind of need to play the DLC. Still need to play the DLC. But I do want to see them making something else. Yes, it did have sex, but I mean, it's virtual sex. You know, it's fun to do it just once to see what's it about, but you know, it's kind of a pointless option for games. Like, it doesn't matter what I do, it doesn't matter on which mountain I climb in a really weird way. Most probably, there's nothing there to see. There's nothing there to do. there's nothing there to gain. With Zelda, it's incredible that sometimes I just casually walk, you know, around the world, and I get treasure chests, I get small puzzles to get a Korok seed, you know, you get new enemies, you get new weapons, you know, you get stuff to see, stuff to do. That's cool though. I'm really interested in these giant mechanical beasts. Like, they are the ones who can create the robots. So I'm really interested in the expansion, if we're gonna see it. Because at the end of the game, one of them lives. So theoretically, it could start the process of destroying the Earth and building a robot army again. And I mean,
Easier
this
when I was a kid.
world and this technology cannot fight against, you know, an army of robots like they could in the old Horizon days.
A pocket shitstorm tour, day 2. My father guest lectured here. A 300-level military history course on the age of human manpower. Might as well be teaching medieval siege tactics. I was 8 when he died.
So if you want to know the backstory of this guy, there are vantage points in the game. One of the few interesting things, or one of the many interesting lore points of the game. And he is pretty much a guy that found out what's happening, you know, in the old world. Because this is of course the future. But in the old world, there was a war, there was a glitch in the robot swarms. They were multiplying, destroying mankind. And nobody knew about it, that it was the end. That mankind could not win. It was hopeless. But nobody knew it, because they devised a really smart, you know, campaign to let people think that they are working on a super weapon that's going to destroy, you know, all the robots. So the only thing mankind had to do is try to buy them time. So in its storyline, the entire species of men fought against the robot swarms, not knowing that it was impossible to win. They didn't have a super weapon.
Save these for the trail.
You know, they couldn't do anything. They were just too powerful. And time was running out. But nobody knew it, besides the guy you just heard. So he was the only one who knew what's happening. And he decided to go around, you know, places and to say goodbye. And that is pretty much, that's why he says apocalyptic storm, because he knows that apocalypse is coming and it's not, you know, it's unstoppable.
Air was getting thick.
Of course, he did not know they were working on Operation, you know, Zero Dawn, and that the world is going to be saved. It's just, they are not. Really, like, if you haven't played Horizon, its storyline is truly incredible. Absolutely incredible. I especially love things like this. You know, especially when I was into the storyline and that you found out that there was a war going on, and then you were like, oh yeah, that's why you see all these tanks and robots. I'm like, oh yeah, that's why this, that's why that. That's so cool.
Can't be too prepared.
Yes, I think that's really cool about Horizon Zero Dawn. It's also cool about Zelda, is that it has a lot of different cultures and, you know, art styles. You have the Karja, you know, you have these natives. I forgot what the name was. You know, you had the stronger guys who are really good at building stuff, and you had there's going to be, of course, in the Horizon DLC, the guys who claims to talk to the robots, and you know, who live in the cold.
Ouch.
And I'm definitely really intrigued at what the storyline is going to be for your Horizon DLC. You know, are we going to see more about what happened and how it happened? There's especially one sad part of the game, is at the end, you can collect power nodes. In the end, you know, you got all of them, and you can go to a bunker deep underground, and you can have the power armor. The power armor was the United States military was, you know, developing, and the thing is that it makes you not invulnerable, but you could take a couple of hits, you know, before you die. So it was kind of like an armor around you, and the whole idea behind the power armor was that, you know, if they equipped the entire race of men with power armors, you know, they could actually win against the robot swarms, because if you get hit, you don't die immediately, so you could fight a lot longer. The problem is that its development was completed at the end of the war. So the war was basically over, and, you know, they completed the power armor. So there was a really sad and interesting letter from the general who made the whole lie about Operation Zero Dawn, super weapon, or whatever, to inspire the entire world to be massacred. Where he tells the doctor, like, you know, you completed the power armor, but it's hopeless. You know, we don't have resources anymore. We don't have an army anymore. You know, we're pretty much dead. We already lost. It's too late. You know, and as myself, as someone who is really a dreamer, and I really fantasize about a lot of things. I'm really a thinker. Like, I think about everything when I'm interested in, like, a lot, you know, too far. So that really makes me think, like, what would happen if, you know, they would complete that power armor, you know, sooner, and maybe they could have won, or maybe not. You know, it's really sad that, you know, I don't know, you don't really see that in games or movies where, you know, mankind actually lost in a really sad way. You know, even if you look at Terminator, there was always like a happy ending. And this game really showed that, you know, it's what the fuck is that? Look at that. Wow. That it's almost impossible to have a happy ending when something like that happens. That happened in Horizon. I think I'm running in circles. What is that? Oh, is that a robot? Oh yeah, that's cool. Yep, that's a broken robot. That's pretty cool. Like, I mean, look at that machine. Like, of course, you know, it's really hard to fight against. but this one definitely got destroyed.
Uh-oh, spotted.
There he is, I would love to see like a movie, you know, about the war. Like, you know, at the end of the game, a little bit at the end of the game, you do see like a tiny bit of the war. You know, you see like really fast cities on fire, and you know, you see huge swarms of robots walking, but that's about it. That's really sad. I would love to see more, you know, about the robot war. Even though you kind of know it's going to have a bad ending because you know, they lost, but still, it would be cool just to see it. Especially when they, you know, they talked about, you know, a wall that they made, you know, bunkers, and they had some, you know, mankind did have some success against the robot swarms. You know, they, especially in the beginning where, you know, the human armies were still massive. You know, they did win against a couple of times, but it's just that, you know, the robots kept multiplying, kept building and building and building, where of course, you know, mankind, if you die, it's gonna take, what, 20 years to make another one, another, you know, child, and they only had 11 months, so it'll still be pretty epic to see. And you know, my first thought that I had walking around in Horizon was there was some sort of war and they used nuclear weapons to destroy each other, because you know, I mean, look at that, that looks like a, you know, a nuclear blast or whatever. But you know, and my other thought was actually like a robot war, because I saw tanks and I saw robots. I'm like, you know, maybe there's like a robot war, but eventually they won and, you know, they did something. But I was kind of right, but I was kind of wrong. And that is what I want in games. I want to be intrigued. I want to be, you know, I want to lie in bed and think about the possibilities of what it could be. And sadly, a lot of games just don't have that anymore. That mystical, you know, atmosphere to it. I really hope we're gonna see more weapons though, more weapons and more armors, you know, in the DLC. Because they're talking about DLC, Zelda is also getting DLC, and we're gonna see more storyline. So I'm even inclined to buy the season pass for Zelda, because we're gonna see more storyline and we're gonna have more weapons and more gear and more stuff to do. So it kind of all depends on what is there going to be in the game. But I'm really interested. The area is heavy. Delves first. Okay, I'm going to end the stream though. It's pretty late now, and I'm about an hour playing it. It was fun to play Horizon again, and especially see the difference between Horizon and Zelda after playing it so long. And you know, I keep telling that both games are phenomenal, and if you have a PS4 and you have a Switch, you need to play both games. They're both just incredible games in their own way. So thanks a lot for chatting, especially Helg, and thanks a lot for watching. And like always, you're gonna see me next time.